Morgan. Come on up. Okay, we're just going to get a quick photo because you know how it goes. The night goes really fast, and then all of a sudden, and we only have an hour, so we wanted to make this really special to have an hour of networking. And we're going to jump right in because I know everyone, we want to be respectful of everyone's time, and super, super excited to have everyone here. So tonight is well, first of all, John and Marcio, come up here, please. So John, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but John and Marcy and I have been putting this together. So I'm so excited and thrilled that we've been able to, put it together on a Monday night, the night before Halloween, right? So if you don't know John, I'm going to let him introduce himself real quick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Morgan. I run a company called Connected Consultants. We do fractional business development, and it's really great to see everybody here. You know, a lot of you already know me from other LinkedIn locals that we've done, and was really excited to do this one with Cindy, make it a little bit different with some amazing speakers, and opening up questions and answers for all of you. And that's what we're here for, so I don't want to waste any more of your time with it. But again, very nice to see everybody, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
I'm very grateful to be here. As a Brazilian, just living here in the US for 8 years, barely speaking the language, but try to establish myself in the best way I can. It's a great honor to have and to be present with all those distinguished panelists and have the chance to work with Cindy and John. Enjoy so much. As a Brazilian, Doug knows very well how hard it is to be networking here. I'm doing this exactly because I started doing network meetings like this 8 years ago. So don't lose the chance to shake all the hands we have here inside this room, because it's going to be important in a certain way, in a certain moment. Enjoy. It's for you, this event. Thank you so much, and enjoy.
Thank you so much. I'd ask everyone in the back to please take a seat up front or in the back. We shouldn't have people standing up. There's plenty of seats over here to sit down. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to, okay, great. We have the slides up. So I just wanted to thank a few of Marcio's company. Can you remind me again the name of your company, Marcio? Massima Advisors. Thank you. Yes. And so we just want to thank a few of our partners who made tonight possible. Life Imaging, FLA. We're going to invite Tom up to the stage in just a moment. Forged in Fatherhood, TeleRx, the Owl app, who obviously makes a splash everywhere they go. LivingFLA.com. We've got Carrie in the house in the back, and he helps us promote all of our events from TEDx to LinkedIn Local to everything. The Sisterhood for Success is one of my passion projects for women's empowerment. And then, of course, John's company, Connected Consultants. So I am going to start the program. And basically, tonight is about listening to everyone ask to hear from TEDx speakers how they were able to get a TED Talk, and also LinkedIn influencers, right? So we've got some LinkedIn influencers here, and we're going to share some secrets to success. So I'm going to pass the mic around so everyone can introduce themselves, but I have, luckily, a personal and professional relationship with everyone up on the stage, and I'm honored to be here with everyone. So I'll start. Jonathan, I'm going to give this off to you. Introduce yourself.
How are you guys doing? My name is Jonathan Palmer. I'm a former professional wrestler turned forensic accountant turned digital marketer. So it's been quite the journey in the last 5 years. So yes, I currently have a digital marketing agency, and I help business owners go viral on LinkedIn. The reality is the platform has 925 million users, but only 3 million posts a day. So for all of you that are looking to generate more qualified leads, have events like this, but online, I definitely heavily recommend LinkedIn. And that's one of the reasons why we're locally here today. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and I'm going to give it off to you, Mark. Thank you.
Hi, guys. My name is Mark Noodleberg. I'm president of our firm On the Ball. I had a few less careers than you did, but I have always been a coach. I spent 14 years as a college football coach before starting my entrepreneurial journey, where now I run a training and development agency with my father and my brother and a few other extended family members down here in South Florida. I would tell you that our only goal is to help individuals and organizations get 1% better every day. And that if you are here looking for a secret to go viral or to be successful or to do anything, there are no secrets. And the information is out there for you. You've taken a great step in being here tonight to hear from people that are doing it, that are willing to share it. But there are no secrets, there are no tricks, there are no little shortcuts. It takes disciplined, consistent work. And if you're willing to do that, I'm sure you can be successful.
What? There are some tips and tricks, and I'm going to share them with you. Okay, so that's where you and I are going to see differently. But hi, I'm Heather Monahan, and I'm an author. I've written 2 books. I have a podcast, and I have a former career, much like our friend over here, not in wrestling, but my former career was as a C-suite executive in corporate America, and I was fired, and that launched my entrepreneurial journey. So I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
I have nothing as impressive as any of this. Like nothing. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I started off as a photographer, and actually one of my jobs was being the photographer at TEDx Boca in 2015. So way back then. Thank you. Thank you. And so being a photographer, I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing speakers, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. And because of that, I kind of know what you need to do in front of the camera when you're on stage. And so with the help of Eric and Cindy, I guess I'm a speaker coach, I guess, but no, really, I am a coach. And yeah, I help people develop their speeches, write their speeches. So that's what I do. So thank you.
Wonderful. I'm Pete Martinez. I actually started my career in this building in 1975 with IBM. I did my 32 years with IBM, so I retired 16 years ago. But I was very fortunate to be part engineering manager of the original IBM personal computer right in this building. When we formed the internet division at IBM, I was one of the founding directors. And then when we created the IBM Global Business Services, the consulting arm of IBM, I was one of the initial executives on it. That organization has now 66,000 employees or consultants as part of it. But what's fascinating is when I retired from IBM, the reason was I had leveled out. I was carrying 5,000 people on my back, and I stopped learning. I stopped learning because most of my day was financial reviews and HR problems. So I walked out at the top of my game. I was vice president of global services, and I was also the senior executive here in Florida, but I said, I'm following a very different light now. So I'm going to call shots on my own. So I've started a number of companies at the intersection of AI and health, AI and fintech, AI and sports, and now having the time of my life.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sean Shea. I'm the president of VIB, and Cindy needed a very low energy speaker, so that's my job here. Just a couple of months ago, I was up here doing a TEDx talk, which was fantastic. Let me tell you, I was very, very nervous, and I didn't fall off the stage. It was actually fantastic that it came through. I was very proud that we made it through. My company, we help technology companies with lead generation. 5 years ago, a technology startup company that I was with started to implode, and I was let go. And at that time, at 50-something years old, I said, okay, now I'm going to start this company that I've been saying I was going to start all these years. And started it. Now we have 50 plus employees, and companies like Google are our customers. And what I really like doing, and that was the source or the topic of the TED Talk, is using the company and the skills that we have to be of service to other people. And thank you for the opportunity.
So we're going to play a couple quick little videos, a 1-minute video and then a 3-minute video. And just to that point that Sean mentioned, every single person of this stage gives back and pays it forward. I was at a beautiful event that Mark Noodleberg and his team hosted just 3 days ago. He's been on the run, a Women's Power Summit, and it was just incredible for the American Cancer Society. So tonight is also about giving back, and we're going to play a little video. But first, I want to recognize Eric Mintz in the back here, right? My partner in crime at TEDx Boca Raton. I know everybody knows Eric. And by the way, if you're not connected with these incredible people on the stage, you should be connected with them and follow them on LinkedIn. So we're going to start the first video. It's just a tiny little compilation of every little clip of each of the TED Talks, and it's a 3-minute video, so not very long. Oh, wait, a 1-minute video, not very long. If it doesn't have a technical glitch, it will start. Okay. Shall we improvise, Heather? I think we'll try it one more time and then we'll just move on. But I did want to share a video with an organization that Sean supports. It's called the Bucket Ministry. And Sean also just recently won an award called the Above and Beyond Award from the Palm Beach Homeless Coalition, because he
had to coexist at work with someone that you know wanted to hold you back, set you up, maybe even sabotage you?
I made some really bad mistakes right at the end of my career. So while I'm a former U.S. Marine, I'm also a former inmate.
Over 50 Cuban American engineers worked on that first IBM personal computer, which changed the world forever.
So instead of fearing failure, we should seek it out. We should allow it to be the catalyst for our growth. How do I build this culture? How do I impact on this culture within my organization so that people want to come to work, that people want to be excited?
The last couple of years, it seems that obtaining happiness is becoming more difficult. What I have found is that there is a solution and there's hope for everybody.
So before we play the Bucket Ministry little video, I'm going to invite, because we wouldn't be able to host these events without sponsors, I'm going to invite Tom Graham up to the stage with Life Imaging. He's just going to tell you just for 2 minutes about his organization. But again, he's disrupting healthcare in so many beautiful ways. And again, I just want to thank him because this wouldn't be possible without sponsors like Tom. So thank you, Tom.
So it's nice to be here in front of everybody. I'm gonna maybe take you off topic a little bit about what I do, but I would first like to tell you about the beginnings of Life Imaging FLA, which is pretty interesting. I didn't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I didn't do a lot of social media, but when I wanted to launch the company, I was seeking some capital. And of course, if I went to the venture capitalist without a business, without any revenue, it makes it very difficult. But I've had some experience with these venture capitalists, and I have raised money from them in the past, and they always want to take the lion's share. You know, if they're going to give you money, they want to take charge, and now I got a job again, and I didn't want a job. So I got busy. I did a little bit of homework. I spent some time on the computer, and I started working with a crowdfunding platform. And I actually raised over $1 million on Facebook to launch my business. $1 million. And at the time, I'm ashamed to say I didn't even have a Facebook page. So, if there's a will, there's a way, sort of, right? And then the journey began, and I did some research after raising the money. And actually, it was interesting. It's kind of crazy. We all try to get in business, and we all need to try to get some funding. If you're passionate about something and you just really dig in, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. When I was raising the money on Facebook, and you wake up every day and there's money in the bank, you're just like, what the heck is going on? And, it just never stopped. I actually considered doing a second round after I got the facility opened up down here. And I just turned it off because I didn't want to sell any more equity, right? I could have gone to $3 million. So now I'm looking at all the social media. Jonathan was at my office. LinkedIn is going to be a big part of what I'm going to do next. And I'm excited to be here and be a part of this environment. And so I guess the moral of the story is if you have the passion about something and you just dig in. I mean, I literally took 6 months to find my way to figure out how to get this capital and how to do the things I was going to do. I had no idea I was going to move over from Tampa Bay. But once you get on the journey, it can be so rewarding and it gets so exciting that, you can't be stopped. And, I want everybody to realize that because that can happen to anybody. Now I'm in this healthcare business, and I tell people all the time, if you would have told me I'd be in the cancer and heart disease business a few years ago, I would have told you were crazy. But here I am. And the business that I'm doing is early detection of heart disease and cancer. And I'm unusual in that I use a CT scanner to do this. No one does that. Normally, you don't get on a CT until the doc thinks that something's wrong. But with this technology, I can find some cancers a decade ahead. We can find any early signs of coronary artery disease. It's been very rewarding. I have a wall of life in my office, and I rent out a wall room. We have these stories of people that come in all the time and everybody's frustrated. Their doctor won't let them, get ahead. It's always like, you're fine, you're fine. But we provide a way for this early detection, the two biggest killers of humans on the planet. And so it's been an amazing journey. I want to encourage everybody to pay attention up here. All of these people have lots of answers to a lot of things that are needed. And I'm happy to be here to tell you my little short story and hope it'll give you some inspiration. And, just keep on it, stay on it, and you'll get where you need to be. I promise you. Anything can happen. And, for the guests today, just so everybody has an opportunity, I don't know, and I don't want to end on a negative note, but unfortunately, heart disease kills 1 out of 3 of us. I lost both my parents to cancer. So when I got scanned and I came back what's called unremarkable, no signs of cancer in my body, what a relief, right? So just as a giveaway today, you've got in front of you free heart scans that we're giving out to everybody that's here today. You guys can come over and get a free heart scan. It's calcium score of the heart. And hopefully you guys can come in and enjoy the peace of mind knowing you're in good health. If we find something, we can always, early detection is what saves lives. We can always get you to a good place in either scenario, okay? Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. You guys have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So he's done in 2 years 17,000 heart scans at Life Imaging and opened up one in Orlando just 4 months ago. So thank you, Tom. We're going to play a little video about the Bucket Ministry, and then we're going to jump right into the program.
My name is Junior. I'm 10 years old and I was born in Kibera. I'm in class 3 in Jamhuri Primary School and I love playing football with my friends.
Bye.
kesho nitakuja nikisha toka home. Umesikia? Nikishafanya homework. Kesho tutakuja kucheza tena. Kama niko free. Usikunywe maji. Twende kwetu, kuna maji safi ya kunywa. Nifuate twende home. Come follow me.
All the poor and powerless, and all the lost and lonely, and all the thieves will come confess and know that you are holy, and know that you are holy. And all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out hallelujah. All the hearts who are content, and all who feel unworthy, and all who hurt with nothing left, will know that you are holy.
Hi mom, this is my friend. We want to go and drink water in the house. Yes, just
Shout it, go on and scream it from the mountains, go on and tell it to the masses that He is God. Shout it, go on and scream it from the mountains, go on and tell it to the
Just wanted to share that and also give Sean a shout out because his company donated over $250,000 to the Bucket Ministry this past year. And I think the year before you did the same thing. And he's been several times to Africa. Maybe you can share a minute.
Thank you. And I'm going back there in about 3 weeks, which is fantastic. And just imagine this, that place that you saw called Kibera, that is in the capital of Kenya in Nairobi. So imagine like 95, right? Like on one side of the highway, and you see this a lot, beautiful wealth, shopping malls. I mean, just very similar to here. And on the other side of the highway, Kibera, 400,000 people in a 3.5 square mile radius with no running water and no sanitation. So what they're drinking is polluted, bacteria-filled water. And it's a big, big problem with children because their bodies cannot adjust to it. And if somebody becomes dehydrated, they don't have the money to get to a hospital. And so these little $50 filters will provide clean water to a family of 4 for 15 years. So it's an amazing little low tech. It's low tech, but it's high tech filter. And I'll just say this last little thing is that the real tremendous part of visiting there, and I tell people it's like the best vacation I ever go on, because you're disconnected from the phone and nobody's bothering you, and there's no task list. And even the people that don't have the clean water are wonderful people. They're just like so nice and so happy for what they have. So it just puts things in like perspective. And it's just a great, great experience. So thanks for letting us share that.
There's so many beautiful causes, and like I said, everyone on this stage gives back in so many beautiful ways. So we're going to open up the program, and this is about Q&A. This is about everyone in the audience interacting with some of the best LinkedIn people here and TEDx speakers. So who has a question? And anyone? Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're all sharing mics, so I don't think that one's on, but you can turn it on, Heather. And so I will ask a question to everyone really quick. Just, when did you start using LinkedIn, and how have you seen it transform your personal and business life? Give a couple little tips to everyone in the audience. We'll start with you, Mark.
So I started using LinkedIn as soon as I exited my college football career. I moved back down here to South Florida after living all around the country. Got great opportunities at Florida, Florida State, Cincinnati, Nevada, and Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. So when I had come back, my network was everywhere but here. I had built an extensive college football network. I knew unbelievable coaches, but it was time for me to build my network here again. And everybody that I had grown up with and had gone on to their own careers was living somewhere else. So I saw it as an unbelievable opportunity for me to start networking without having to go to every chamber breakfast, every networking event, every happy hour, being at every event. It was a way that I could scale my efforts to build relationships really quickly. And the tool offered me an unbelievable opportunity to connect with very specific people in the terms of business leaders that happened to be Florida State grads. And I knew that that was something I could connect with them on. My father, Steve Noodleberg, if you know him, had started using it years before I was using it and was like, this is how you should use it. Try it. And so that's really what I did. I used the search tool to find business leaders in South Florida that were Florida State grads. I started sending them personalized connection requests that said, hey, go Noles. Just got out of college football and looking to be with fellow leaders and have conversations and build relationships. And if you're up for it, let's grab virtual coffee. So instead of driving up and down 95 to everywhere I needed to go, I leveraged Zoom before anybody was using Zoom. They didn't even know what the word was, and used that to really start to build my network of people that helped me become successful over the next 4 or 5 years. So it wasn't for me. I was posting and I was building brand and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but it wasn't about that. It was about the way I was using the tool to connect with somebody on a very personalized way, and then taking them off the platform and figuring out whether or not we could be friends. And if we were, then maybe there was an opportunity for me to help them or their organization. And that has been the principle that has driven all of the success of our coaching and development agency. That is a principle that we teach to lots of people. We teach a course called Learn LinkedIn Like a Pro. We put it at the foundation of a lot of other organizations' business development plans. But I think it's an unbelievable tool if you understand how to connect personally with people and you know how to pull the information out of it to use it to your advantage. So that's how I got it.
So I started posting on LinkedIn 6 years ago. when I was fired, as I mentioned earlier. And for anyone right now that's listening and is like, oh yeah, well, you had a C-suite career, blah, blah, blah. I just want to let you know this. A very good girlfriend of mine who's a stay-at-home mother reached out to me 1 year ago and said, what do I do to launch my business on faith? I said, go on LinkedIn. And she's like, you're crazy. I said, then do it. If it sounds crazy, do it. She said, okay, we're best friends. So she launched a platform on LinkedIn. And I want to tell you right now, I have 300,000 followers in 6 years on LinkedIn. So does she in 1 year. Want to know why? Because she owned a white space. So for anyone here who's saying like, I don't have this business background, doesn't matter. Be authentic, be you, add value, show up on the daily, make the commitment and be unique. This is what this woman did. She spoke about faith. And guess what? People in business love God too. And guess what else we found? So another great example, I have a mastermind on speaking. One of the gentlemen in my mastermind has a wife who has a fitness career. He's like, she can't get off the ground, Heather. This is a separate conversation from our mastermind. I don't know what to do. She's on IG all day long, posting like these bikini things. Nothing's happening. I said, put her on LinkedIn. She's been on LinkedIn for 3 months. She's closed more business in 3 months than she has in 3 years on IG. The reality is this, there's so much white space out there. And I think you shared the numbers earlier. No one's posting. And you think everyone's posting, but I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to be on Gary Vaynerchuk's show 3 years ago. And he said, I'm going to leave you with one takeaway, Heather, right now. Post, post, and post on one place only, LinkedIn. And I listened to him because I believe if someone's where I want to be, I'm going to go listen to them. That guy's where I want to be, at millions of followers. And he's like, go show up and post. And now 90% of my business comes from LinkedIn. Couple of quick things. Shield API, I'm not a spokesperson for them. They should pay me. They're not yet. I will try to work this out. I'm negotiating it. But it's $10 a month, and it's going to allow you analytics so you can see data doesn't lie. Go ahead and look at the data. What's working, what's not working. Test and try. Next thing, find competitors. I always have 10 competitors. Sarah Blakely's a competitor. Is she really? No, she's a billionaire married to a really hot guy. I'm not. But here's the thing. I can go look at her content and say, if this is working for her, she's an entrepreneur in business, this could potentially work for me. I'm going to see it through the lens of Heather Monahan, not through Sarah Blakely, and reimagine it. And everyone's like, oh no, you're stealing. No, nothing original has been created since the Bible. Let's just get back to that basic right now. Do you think Sarah Blakely created Spanx and she got upset with Kim Kardashian who launched Skims? Skims is Spanx reimagined through Kim Kardashian's eyes. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So reimagine everything through your eyes and watch yourself take off.
Heather, do you want to tell us your friend's name so everyone can follow if you want to?
Kelly Tyan.
Okay.
Kelly Tyan. Kelleytyan.
All right, so we're up here trying to figure out who's the oldest on LinkedIn. Like, all right, so I've been on LinkedIn since about 2011. And originally I got on because of school. You know, it was one of those classes where the professor was like, oh, you have to get on LinkedIn and then you get a grade. You know, he won't pass you. I mean, he won't fail you. So that's how I got on initially as a photographer. Like I said, I was a photographer. And I've really used LinkedIn to connect with fellow Marines. All right, hoorah. Always nice to know.
Thank you for your service,
Thank
Cece.
you, thank you,
And
thank
every
you.
other veteran in the house, Steve
Right.
Edwards.
Right.
Steve?
So, all right, let me just go off track here for a minute. My recruiter was really, really good looking. Really good looking. And it was my pleasure to serve. What can I say? All right, so back to this panel. So I use LinkedIn. Stick with that. Stick with that. Let me tell you.
That's a separate event, ladies.
Right. That's a separate event. No, but because of LinkedIn, I was able to connect with a lot of former Marines, lots of friends. And like I said, my business as a photographer, I needed to connect with speakers. And because speakers need pictures. And so that's how I really built my business. I don't know how many people I have, but I do know I follow Heather. Every time Heather posts, I'm liking it. If Cindy posts, I'm liking it. I'm always commenting. And I think that's how I built my LinkedIn following, is that I don't just like, I comment. All right. And then I have a lot of interaction. So when I post something on social media, it just, especially LinkedIn, the numbers just, you know, I'm not an influencer, but kind of, yeah, people always respond. People are always.
Micro influencers are very influential.
Okay,
right?
is that what I am, a micro influencer? Okay, and yeah, so I totally enjoy my time on LinkedIn, and first thing in the morning when I get up, I check my LinkedIn. Yes, I do. So, thank you.
All right. Right the moment I graduated from IBM 18 years ago, I jumped on it and I said, well, maybe it's a way to figure out what my next step is all about. I was thinking maybe I'll take a year off, just consult a little bit, take some time off for the vacation. All of a sudden, the stuff starts. And it was incredible, the network that would find you. And it was unreal. The second part was now as we're working with some niche industries, for instance, we're doing a lot of work with kids with rare genetic diseases. So we're using AI to diagnose kids that have some very, very severe stuff. That's a very specialized niche of parents, of scientists, of technologists, bringing them together and actually creating communities of interest where the scientist is sharing ideas with parents are sharing ideas with technologists, which the AI is capturing it and creating completely different ways of thinking through the analytics is phenomenal. And the third example is I'm using it a lot to catch up with folks that I haven't seen for a long period of time. People that I worked with over 30, 40 years ago. And all of a sudden I'm finding them in different parts of the world, reconnecting them. And this is like an exclamation point to our relationship.
Yeah, so LinkedIn's a great, great tool. I've been using it for 10 plus years. At the beginning, I was using it mainly for a prospecting tool. The business that I have now, for 5 plus years, I had it as a side gig, something I just did on the side for at least 5 years. And occasionally I would send out LinkedIn in-mails. And at the beginning, what I did is I would send out messages to people first to get some advice. Like, what do you think about this idea as a product or service? Does it have any legs to it? And once people said, yeah, that's a great idea, I'd be interested in that. And then using LinkedIn, we started like selling some of these marketing services from it. And then for many, many years, people would refer other marketing professionals to me all through LinkedIn. So it was all basically inbound, which was really, really tremendous. And now that we have a full-time business, I started to listen to other people because for years, I'll have to admit, when people would say, you should post, you should maybe have PR, maybe you should, do some branding and awareness. And I'm like, that's not me. I think it's fluffy. There's probably nothing there. And lo and behold, there is really something there. So once I started, writing some business articles, started to add some value to the community, people would start to want to connect with me, and people would start to say, hey, could you connect me with somebody from your company to see if we could do business together? I'll just give you one little example of something where I've used LinkedIn to a great, and again, I'm in the business to business sector. What we generally find is that when people change jobs, probably the first place where somebody actually will let the world know that they're changing jobs is on LinkedIn. And one of the great things is if we're doing a good job and we're providing good customer service, that person will reach out to us on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm over at this company now. Here's my new email address. Please, hit me up over here. So there's just tremendous value in it. Recently, it popped into my head, having tens of thousands of, business contacts. Many of them I hadn't been in touch with for years. We did a little campaign that appended email addresses and reached out to people and say, hey, would you, like Mark said, want to have a little virtual coffee get together? Put 20 different contacts in a little automation, hit the send button. 8 out of 20 people booked a meeting literally within 10 minutes. And it was all based on LinkedIn data. So there is tremendous power in that community. So
I agree. And just to that point, I wanted to share, I'm going to give the mic to Mark because I wanted to share a little bit about, they have a group called the Noodleberg Daily Huddle that you started. It's a LinkedIn Live, and it's every day consistency. And it's, I listen to it almost every day during COVID because I loved getting the motivation in the morning. And I just wanted to share because it's such a great concept for anyone, and anybody can do that, and LinkedIn Live, and then we'll open it up.
Yeah, I think what you heard from everybody here is when you're posting, give, right? Give value, give who you are. And part of our course that we teach, I'm going to give you guys the rules of engagement, right? And it really comes down to something very simple. Have a profile that speaks to who you are, not what you do. Way too many people's taglines are their job titles, right? Communicate your value there. Put who you are out there. And if you have a profile that works for you, then you have to be sharing a piece of content every day. Those are the only two ways that the platform really allows you to communicate who you are, is through your profile and through your content. And every day that you choose not to post something, you're missing an opportunity to show up for just one person. It's great if you have 300,000 followers or 1 million followers or however many, but it's not really about those numbers. What the numbers, the metric you should really be paying attention to is connections to conversations. If you have 300,000 followers but have never had a conversation with any of them, you don't really know them. And people that don't know you can't help you. So how well are you leveraging that network of 500 connections or 300,000 connections to have the conversations with those people and build the relationship? So if you can have a profile and you can share content every day, the next thing you need to do is you need to be engaging with the feed, right? Feed the feed, read the feed, engage with the feed. Everybody up here is sharing something of value every day. You can learn and grow from that. Everybody who's liking it and commenting on it is somebody that you have something in common with. That piece of content. What an unbelievable way to start a conversation with them, right? So there's opportunities out there for you to connect with people every day. We've heard it since we were born. Network is your net worth, right? You're only as good as the people that you are, who you surround yourself with. It is very true inside of the LinkedIn platform as well. So what we do on the Noodleberg Daily Huddle is, number one, I'm a former football coach. What is a huddle? Huddle creates alignment. Huddle creates, camaraderie. It creates that team environment, and it lets everybody know what direction we're heading in that day. We do it as a company every single day. I've been doing it with my father since I was 12 years old. Before going to school, once I went away to school, it was all the time. We saw an opportunity to share that moment with the world when the world was struggling for connection. We said, screw it. Let's have this conversation live. We test ran it on a Sunday. Worked great. A couple people popped in and said good morning or whatever. And we're like, all right, we'll do this every day. And so if you go back on our YouTube channel to the original shows, they're awful. Terrible. I mean, just horrendous. Like we were using a phone to play music because we believe in the power of music in the morning, right, Jen? But you know, we've iterated. We use a platform called StreamYard now, and we have ways to interject videos, and all we're trying to do is share our energy, our insight with everybody else. And if it resonates with you, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, right? It doesn't cost us anything other than our time and our effort. And we've built a community around it. There's 50 plus people that join every day live, and there's hundreds and thousands of people that watch it on replay, watch it a week later, whenever they want to get to it. But it's something that we put out every single day that people can put at the center, and we built a tribe around it, right? And we believe in that power, and it's a great marketing tool, sure, but what it really did, it was built a community. And whether it's this community that we're sitting in the room, or it's the community that you're engaging with on LinkedIn, or it's the community that you're engaging with in your neighborhood, your community is the thing that's going to drive your success. So how many different ways can you try to find to build community and share with your community? That's what's going to help you be successful on LinkedIn.
So I just want to know right quick, as we're talking, you guys are like writing. Like, what are you writing? Can somebody tell us what are we saying that's so brilliant? So, okay, all right. Anybody else from down that side?
Ask Cece about the other story.
Okay, that's another conversation. How about on this side of the room? Like, what are you guys writing? Like, LinkedIn posts. Okay, good. Post on the daily. All right. Test. Okay. All right. Anything from? Okay. All right.
Do we have a question out in the audience?
We have some expertise that wants to share.
We'll get what it is, but I do have
Question?
But I do have another one. Heather, you said something about something for $10 and you get analytics. What was that?
Shield API.
What is it?
Shield API.
Shield API.
Yeah, LinkedIn actually now offers, just happened recently, but now they offer you analytics. But the Shield analytics are much better. But if you don't want to pay for the Shields, you can use LinkedIn's. But data doesn't lie. Look at data. Data will always test and try different things, and just look back at the numbers, and you'll be able to see like, oh, this is resonating, this isn't. You know, okay, it's all right when it doesn't. Another thing I've learned is go delete the post that didn't resonate. That helps the algorithm. Like, it shows that, I don't know why, but just like recently, stop using hashtags. That's another thing that we're finding right now. Like, these are all things we test and try. I have a team. I don't do my social media by myself anymore, but you know, we're always testing and trying and seeing what's working, what's not. So look at your competitors, look at the people ahead of you. They're the ones that cued me into, wait, stop using hashtags. I started seeing people who have larger audiences, a lot better engagement than I do. They stop using hashtags. I DM my team. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. We're going to look at the data. And when they started looking at the data didn't lie. Stop using hashtags for right now. That might be this month, and it could change next month.
So I just want to, like, you should have a strategy to what you're trying to do, right? I use hashtags because people use hashtags to search the platform. So I'd rather not go viral if I use a hashtag, but know that when somebody searches training and development, my content's going to show up there. So different strategies, different goals, right?
My strategy is to go viral.
There you go. There you go. Right? And so I'm more about the consistent, disciplined. When somebody searches a hashtag, I want them to see Mark Noodleberg and everything that I'm sharing on that topic before another company. I'm still going to get a significant amount of impressions, not the same as Heather. That's okay with me. If I hit 1.5 million impressions for the year, I'm good with that. She might do that in a day, right? But I'm more worried about, where is my brand showing up, and am I leveraging in every place possible to get there?
So I have a super special connection with LinkedIn. And one of the things that they shared to me is hashtags are actually completely broken on LinkedIn. They're completely broken. So the way that you know is, so LinkedIn has one feed. And that's where all of your first connections, you're going to see their content, anybody you're following, that goes on one feed. Now, when you look at like Instagram or TikTok and even YouTube, I believe, they have something called discovery pages. Now, the discovery pages are for SEO, hashtag use, all that stuff. But because LinkedIn combines the two and they only have one feed, they had to decide and dictate, well, what do we want to prioritize for our users? Now, as he mentioned, LinkedIn at its best is human-to-human connection, networking, one-on-one, right? So they decided to prioritize the content that's being released by these first connections. And then they kind of like pushed it all the way to the back, the hashtag usage, because they got to prioritize one activity over the other, right? So I have never, in all my years on LinkedIn, and I've worked with Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, Lewis Howes, Dan Locke, Ty Lopez, a bunch of really influential people. None of them have had success with hashtags on LinkedIn. Completely broken. Now, where it is good is if you have a special hashtag related to your brand. Great for organizing information. Great for having a hashtag and a library where it's easily discoverable. But does it impact the algorithm? 1000% no. Does not make a difference. But it organizes it, so it's good. Also, something I just wanted to share with all you guys. If you want to go viral, because I'm kind of like Heather, that's my thing. At my peak, every video that I was posting would generate between 150 and 350,000 views each video. I posted one time a week, once. Who did I get this from? Mr. Beast, the most subscribed individual on formula. Posting once a week, but you better make it good. You better make it good, because my belief is that my content is an experience. It's not just some post I'm throwing out there. When you're on LinkedIn, sorry, being a little loud here. Envision it like you're sitting at a table with people that you have high degrees of respect for, your mentors, the people that you look up to. Imagine if you could be in a room with them, you could be sitting at a table breaking bread with them. Would you say anything that you had at the top of your mind? You just say whatever came up in your mind. That is what people do on social media. They're just like, oh my God, I need to post today. I don't know, I'll just post my lunch. I'll post a cat meme. I'll post whatever, My belief is I am not going to speak at that table unless I have something profound to say, because I respect my audience. I'm not going to just shovel whatever it is on the feed. And because there's 925 million users and only 3 million organic posts a day, and who knows if those are the actual numbers, but I'm sure it's relatively close. LinkedIn has a content deficiency problem. So your post will continue to generate thousands of views. Isn't that right, Wendy? Your post will continue to generate thousands upon thousands of views days after you posted it. So don't burn yourself out. I've worked with so many entrepreneurs, so many business owners that they are inundated with saying, oh, well, I have to post every day. I have to post every day. Statistically, my clients have not seen better results going from 3 times a week to 5 times a week or to 7 times a week. I have something I call a mom rule. If I see your content on my feed more frequently than I call my own mother, who I love more than anybody else in this room, we got a problem. I am seeing you too much. And I'm going to hit the unfollow button. So my belief is to wrap it all up, lead with not just any value, the best value. Put your best stuff out there. Be intentional. Take your time. Everybody's obsessed with posting and putting themselves out there as much as they possibly can. I'm telling you, because Mr. Beast is proof, be more intentional with what you put out there. Lead with the heart, something actually good, and you would be shocked. You'll be getting those 150,000, 350,000 views. And even after that, you'll make more connections. So just throwing it out there. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, and I think, to that point and what Mark and Heather said too, it's like everyone has a different strategy, right? So this is great information, because what works for one person might be tweaked for somebody else and work really well for you. So this is about audience engagement, and I'd love to hear
Cindy?
someone in the back there. Oh, Danielle, come on up. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, go ahead. Tell us, what's the question? And then we'll go to Danielle.
Here it is. Okay. And so when integrating your social medias, if you have a bigger following on, say, Instagram or Facebook, where most of your engagement and everything comes from, how do you make content that is good for all of these audiences at once?
would tell you can't. I would tell you that the content that works on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok does not work on LinkedIn. It's a very different platform. So you have to either commit to the discipline necessary to make what works for each platform, or choose one or a couple to be on. The reason I choose LinkedIn is because of what LinkedIn gives back to me. I still exist on Instagram. I still exist on Facebook, you know, and I've used them to a point. I'm telling you that I've built a multi-million-dollar business with the primary business development driver as LinkedIn. That's it. I don't cold call. I don't cold email. I don't mass mail. I don't knock on doors. I don't do any of that. All of our business comes from LinkedIn. And so I know what it has given me, and I don't have 300,000 followers, and I don't go viral daily. I don't, or weekly, ever. I don't. I speak about my family. I speak about my occupation. I speak about my recreation, and I do it every single day. And I've built a community of people that when somebody in Texas asks about sales training or training and development, I've got 5 people who comment, you need to speak to Mark Noodleberg, even though he's in Florida. That's, to me, how you build a business. That's word of mouth marketing in digital marketing. That, to me, is building a community and a tribe of people that are willing to help you when they see opportunity to do that. The reason they do that is because they know me. I was just at an event last week with Caitlin Stella, who's the CEO of Joe DiMaggio. I have not seen Caitlin or spoken to Caitlin in 4 years. 4. No words ever exchanged in 4 years. I met her early on. We developed a little bit of a friendship, and that was it. And we went our separate ways, and saw her at the JA event. Saw her at JA. She came up to me and gave me a bear hug like she was my auntie. Knew about my kids, knew about what was happening in my life, so happy for my business success, knew all about me. She doesn't comment. She doesn't like. I don't even know she's watching. But she knew everything about me because I choose to show up daily speaking about something that I think is valuable. Now, you don't have to do it that way, right? But the reason she saw me and the reason she knows those things is because I'm not just throwing anything out there, right? I choose to stay in my lane. My family is very important to me. I love talking about what I do for a living. And there are some recreational things that I like: grilling, football, working out, getting up early in the morning. These are things that are my value system that I share with people. And when it resonates with somebody, I connect with them, I have a conversation with them, and I add them to the tribe. And I've been disciplined to that behavior over the years so that I might not be getting the same visibility that they are in terms of views and comments and likes in a day. But I'm telling you that it feeds me opportunity on a daily basis, which is all I really want from it.
And I'm gonna toss this over to Pete for a minute, just because you know, there is a difference. Like, I am not a LinkedIn influencer, but I do think there's a difference between influencer and being of influence. And just Pete is of influence in the community. And I know you've shared. Sean, would you mind handing him the mic? Just, you know, a little bit more about your background, LinkedIn, but also, you know, you mentioned recently some of the things you're doing with AI and the students in Argentina. And I just feel like, you know, Heather obviously is amazing, but not everybody is going to be Heather Monahan. Let's face it, you guys. So, Pete, I'll let you just say a few words about that.
Sure. I was very blessed along my career to work with some incredible talent, incredible technology. And when I said, under this next phase, let's concentrate on giving back, one, in health and education. I said, I'm not going to become a doctor or a teacher, but we'll figure out a way to throw a very strong punch. So one of the things that we did was actually create a platform, an AI platform, that would take cases. Now think of kids with a rare genetic disease. On average, it takes 5 years to properly diagnose one of these kids. 5 years. This is cystic fibrosis. This is hemophilia, muscular dystrophy, you know, all of the bad ones. 5 years of the disease progressing before you even know what it is. So we started working with some of the top geneticists in the world, actually develop a lot of the network because of the LinkedIn. We actually connected them. And we took processes that would take one highly skilled geneticist about 3 or 4 days to properly diagnose one case. One case, 3 or 4 days. Using AI, we got it down to 10 seconds. 10 seconds with much higher accuracy, repeatability, access to data. Because imagine that there are about 3 billion records being created every night that we have to integrate. Okay. We have now done 150,000 cases of kids with rare genetic diseases across 40 countries. That's impact. And that's the stories that we tell on LinkedIn. And you know, the magic of it is it starts attracting significant amount of talent. It's significant amount of interested parents and technologists have said, I have a better idea. Can we help contribute to the overall cause? So you look about the development of communities of interest, it's multidimensional. One of the things that we understand is a limitation of people that go a mile deep. They don't see the interconnections. There's a fascinating book called The Medici Effect. Medici, if you remember, during the Renaissance in Florence, this is the family that actually brought all of the artists, the engineers, the physicians together, and they started collaborating. Innovation happened at the intersection of those disciplines, not at the depth, but at the intersection. The same is happening in this world. What we call the multi-domain modeling, which can be done in artificial intelligence, but it's nothing more than bringing very disparate thoughts, ideas, and disciplines working together in a very, very structured way. So the community building that we've received, absolutely spectacular, but the depth of releasing the human power of innovation through some of these platforms has been incredible.
Thank you. Heather, what about you and AI? Do you want to share a little bit? Do you have anything to say about AI? Have you used it? No, I'm just saying you mentioned Heather. No, Heather. Heather.
Are you saying Heather, but you're looking at me. I'm
No,
like,
I don't know. We have more people with questions out there, though.
Oh,
I wanna
yeah.
answer their questions.
Questions.
Hi. What is your biggest piece of advice on how to stand out when messaging potential business?
In regards to DMs or in
Yeah.
regards when you're DMing someone?
Yes.
Make it about them. This is what I would tell you, because I'm pitched all the time. People want to be on my podcast all the time. And they always are. Let me tell you why I'm so great. Let me tell you what's, and the minute I say that, I'm like, delete, bye. But the minute they say to me, oh my God, I love your show, I'm hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, oh, they love my show. Oh my, I love you. Right? Make it about the person. Start, oh my gosh, I saw what you did. What? You saw me? As soon as you make someone feel special, got them.
let me just answer that. Anybody who sends me a message and says that they can make me a TEDx speaker, like really, I'm a 2-time TEDx speaker. You're gonna make me a TEDx speaker? Like, so delete. I just automatically delete that.
Sure. So when it comes to industries that are like product focused, and so doing pictures as posts is very easy to do. I know there's always a balance of word posts versus picture versus video. Any suggestions for pro or cons to selfies and things like that? Is it too Instagram-y? What would the recommendation be for that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my friends can't read. Like none of them. I think it's because I'm a photographer. People just naturally expect me to do something with an image. And somebody sent me something the other day, and the text was like this long, and I was like, I'm not even going to read it. Honestly, I'm not even going to read it. For me, it's all about the images. Absolutely. How about you guys?
All right.
Okay.
Jeez, is it just me?
Jonathan, hold
Do I even need it? Okay, sorry. Let me hold it over here, guys. Okay. How many of you guys remember, maybe it's a bad example, Bill Clinton, an article that Bill Clinton wrote? How about Elon Musk? How about Jeff Bezos? How many of the articles? Okay, we got one guy. Anybody else? But we all remember what they sound like, what they look like, the type of tonality that they use, their body language. We all remember watching these individuals on social media, on television, right? So all of you, believe it or not, coming from a millennial, all of you, if you want to stay relevant, you need to get on video and as quickly as you possibly can, because the ship has sailed and you guys are all falling behind. Now, the reality is that when you look at the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musk and these kinds of individuals, they're not extroverted people. They're not the kinds of people that are running to be a part of a crowd and the life of a party, right? But they understood that in order to be effective CEOs, they had to hurry up and get comfortable on camera, because that is the direction that our entire world is going in, right? So I would say text posts, maybe somebody with AI wrote that post on your behalf. Maybe you have a ghostwriter, but nobody can fake being eventually people will be able to fake being on camera. But for the next 6 months, you guys should be all right. So you need to get on camera. And please, for the love of God, what I did, and I don't have it on my phone right now, but I'm going to give you a hack, okay? So at the very top, when you have your camera, put like a little smiley face sticker right by the lens to remind you to look into the lens. Don't look at yourself. I know you're cute, whatever. But look into the lens. It's so distracting when the audience, it's obvious that they're just like looking at themselves, filming the video. So yes, video is everything, guys. You should really go all in on that. Absolutely.
And Vidyard or LinkedIn gives you a very unique way to communicate with people through video. There's a little alien icon in your message box. That alien icon is a recording tool that allows you to record a message and send it to somebody through a direct message. So I think she left, but the question about how do I uniquely show up to somebody? How do I stand out? Send them a video. Instead of them reading your message, allow them to hear your message. Allow them to hear you communicate the love you have for them, or the thing they wrote that was really cool, or the thing you saw about them in the news, or the thing their company did. I think there's 3 levels of personalization when you're looking to talk to somebody: to the person, to the company, to the industry. If you can't find something in those 3 areas to speak to them about, don't send them the message, because you haven't done enough research. So understand that if you can use the video tool to leverage that personalization, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So if you're using it for your marketing, as you're doing it outwardly to your audience, use it internally as well as you're talking to people through the DMs.
Questions?
Hi. Hi, I'm Beth Wagmeister, and I'm just really excited to participate tonight because normally I'm
Beth, we need to have you up here next time.
normally I'm providing sign language interpreting for all of these events, not all of these events, but in the community. So I don't ever get a chance to participate. I just always am thinking all the things I want to say. So tonight, since I'm not on, I have a comment and I also have a question. We're talking about be intentional and interacting and making sure our content reaches out a large audience, but it's really important to realize that there's 1.3 billion people in the world with disabilities. So we have to make sure that we are making sure our content is accessible for people with disabilities to even know. When you're saying leave a message or have a video, make sure it's captioned. Make sure there's ways that you can reach out, because you're missing an entire population of people that could really elevate you even further, your product, your services, or just your following as well. So that's one thing. And my question also is that I have developed my LinkedIn under my name, but through the years, I've now evolved into have my own business and it's growing really well. My question is, I've been told by some people I should have a work LinkedIn page, but I have such a huge following on my, not huge following like any of you, but I'm pretty good. I'm over 8,000. I'm very excited. So a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. Thank you. But I just was wondering, do I have to, I see some, you don't have to do that. Do I have to change and go into my business, or I could just leave it as myself, brand myself?
People lead people to the brand. Always. That's how buyer behavior has changed. It's how human behavior has changed. Nike would not be Nike in today's world. Phil Knight would have had to have built Nike on Phil Knight's back. And just like he talked about Elon, people will move from Tesla immediately as soon as Elon does. People will follow the people to the brand. So keep yourself as the primary person. Still speak about your brand, and it's great to have brand presence. I think it's important to be able to give as much information to people as possible. People want to be able to learn and educate themselves when and where they want, but you need to be the primary person leading them there.
By the way, we are live streaming on LinkedIn tonight, you guys, just so you know. Questions?
Could I just, sorry guys, really quick. Also, all of you guys absolutely without a question need captions. 84% of people will watch videos on social media with the captions with the volume turned off. So all of you, and literally a quick hack, you can go into Instagram, create a story, hit the caption button, 5 seconds, boom. You got captions, download it, add it to LinkedIn.
LinkedIn adds it for you. Yeah, LinkedIn
Oh, true. Yeah. Sorry. There you go.
To your point of people with disabilities, it was fascinating because in this building is where we developed a lot of the speech recognition technology. And if you remember, the original application of speech recognition was not for call centers. It was with people that were physically impaired, could not touch a keyboard, could not see a screen. Now, if you look at the way that we use that was to enable people to the workforce. They could contribute, they could. If you fast forward now to the AI world, and you think of it not as the physically impaired, but actually the cognitively impaired, the people that cannot communicate. So we're talking about ADHD, dyslexia, autism. How do we normalize the lack of communication or the challenges in communication to unleash the superpowers that these people have? So that's where AI kicks in. And to the degree that we can facilitate that level of communication and interactivity, more power to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So along the lines of AI, everybody knows ChatGPT and now Claude and Bard and all these large language models. And LinkedIn is placing a lot of emphasis on their collaborative articles. So I'm just curious from your points of view, if you're contributing and what you think of the collaborative articles. I'm a big fan and I contribute pretty much daily. I have 11 badges, but I love it. And I think it's a great thing because you get to add your perspective without having to think about what you want to say. Somebody else said something and then you get to add your perspective. So I'm just wondering if you guys are all doing the same, having so much influence there, and what your thoughts are.
I'll say this. So what she's talking about there is, and we can share the link, Cindy, so everybody has it, so you can get, like, anyone can join in on this. And the whole goal is essentially, I think, you get a badge that says, like, you're the LinkedIn top voice for whatever it is, leadership, speaking, blah, 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 all these different things. So if you have I think that's amazing. I don't have the time. So if I have time, if anything, I'm going to engage with my peeps on my feed. I don't, in my world right now, I don't need a badge. Like, however, that's not to knock, like, to get one is so cool. I wish they would just give me one. I think they should, but they won't. So, but I don't have the time to go get it. If you have the time, go get it, right? Like, it's all about giving your perspective. And if you have value to add in something, why not do it and get the badge? I have plenty of friends that are doing it on the daily, but I'm just going to let you know, can't just do it one day and it shows up. You got to do it day in and day out. Like, you have to put the time in to do it. But if you have the time, do it. That's amazing. And get a badge from LinkedIn. Why not?
And I was going to say, it's a great way to build your thought leadership too, because I notice people that are commenting on those all the time. And I know we're running late on time. So I just also wanted to ask everyone, as far as, like, I know we're talking a lot about LinkedIn, but we have 5 TEDx speakers here too. So if anyone wants to ask a question about TEDx, feel free. And we have a question in the back. Danielle?
Hi. So I was just wondering, for those of you that are influencers, how do you deal with all of the messages that you get in your inbox? Like, I know some of you might have the money to have a team of people that answer it for you, but for those of you that don't, how do you filter through all those messages, the ones that are legit, not? How do you have the time for that?
Okay, so for me, I'm a two-time TEDx speaker and I am a TEDx organizer. If you send me a message and you spell TEDx wrong, I don't even bother to delete it. I just leave it alone because TEDx is capital T, capital E, capital D, lowercase x. Anything else, I don't even look at it. I just roll my eyes. So that's what I do.
One trick I'll share is when I know I see we all have like your job anniversaries coming up, right? So you know it's going to be blasted out to LinkedIn that Heather's anniversary just came up. You know you're going to get a lot of inbound. I set an away message. And so what that does for you is it automates a response to everybody. And it can be like, oh my gosh, thank you. You know, I just write it from my voice. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for giving me a shout out and appreciating me. I super appreciate it. I'm head down right now working on whatever I'm working on. However, I would love it if you would check out blah, blah, blah. Like, so it's an opportunity to engage with them further, get them to your email list or get them to your podcast or whatever. But it's something that you can do, but also acknowledges because listen, it's not always easy if you don't have a team. But by the way, you can get a virtual assistant now it's so inexpensive now to get a virtual assistant but the one thing I will say, I've been put in LinkedIn jail twice, and that happens as a result of when you have virtual assistants that are operating outside of where you are demographically, you're penalized. So, or you have the potential to be, I should say. So all I would recommend is, there's some different ways to get around it, but the bottom line is this: either hire someone who's like somewhat near you or have a conversation about how you can manage that properly to adhere to LinkedIn's guidelines.
VPNs.
Thank you.
VPNs are we all have them. Just VPNs. VPN. Go look for one. That'll help.
So we have heard a lot about LinkedIn, and I think maybe some people would like to hear about TEDx. In the interest of time, maybe your number one tip to leverage your LinkedIn and become a TEDx speaker, because the path is very different. Everybody on LinkedIn who's successful is not going to become a successful TEDx speaker.
So what's your question? I'm not clear.
Number one piece of advice to become a TEDx speaker.
Know how to spell TEDx right? Like, honestly, know how to spell TEDx right. So I just came back from Atlanta. There were 1,200 women and 42 men. There was TED women. And as organizers, we were talking and, like, what makes an organizer just totally disregard somebody's application? Things like that, not knowing the brand. Number two, if your publicist writes and your application, and we can tell because then it's the third person. It's like CC Espute is instead of I am. So that's like a, little things like that will automatically make an organizer just not even consider you.
Speak as often as you possibly can. I mean, the best way to get on is to have somebody see you speak and go, wow, we should have that person on our TEDx panel, or we should have that person at our when I started my football career, I worked for free. I worked 16 hours a day for free. And nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to start getting paid right away, and everybody wants to get a speaker's fee, and everybody wants to be on a big stage. If you want to get on another stage, find a stage to get on and prove that you can do it, and the more you can do that, the more you can speak, the more you can get the footage of you speaking to share through your LinkedIn or through your social channels, the more you can send that to people to say, hey, here's a sample of what I do. Here are the topics I talk about, and here's me doing it. Speak. So the more you do that, the more opportunity you're going to provide yourself to end up on a TEDx stage before you're even trying to get on one.
Cindy should answer this question, by the way.
I always tell people, actually, your story, Heather, just being resilient, because so many people, and you were an influencer, and you share the story of applying again and again and again. So just be consistent, resilient, don't get discouraged. I mean, there's, 7 to 14 slots on a TEDx stage, and 200 applications per event. So you have to be resilient, and you just have to keep going. And there's nothing wrong if you don't get selected. Like several of our speakers, and Steve Edwards is one. It wasn't his first time that he submitted. He got accepted the second time, right? And it wasn't because there was anything wrong with the first submission. It's really a numbers game in some cases. And yeah, so I would definitely encourage people to just continue and not be discouraged. And another tip that Heather gives, that I give a lot of people, is to put out a Google alert, because a lot of people put their eggs in all one basket. And so if you grew up in one area, or another area, you traveled to different places. I mean, there's a lot in South Florida right now, which is wonderful. Cece's an organizer of one in Miramar that's coming up in December. By the way, TEDx Delray is coming up next week, November 4th. So if you haven't gotten tickets, it's a great opportunity to do that. And yeah, so those are a couple tips. But Sean, I'd love to hear from you, and Pete too.
One thing related to your question, think of content, but also think of the presentation. They go hand in hand. The content has to challenge the mind, but warm the heart. It's got to have a social connection. Those are the ones that are most impactful. You came up with a new idea, but it has social significance to it. And second, when you give a presentation, it's no longer a presentation, it's a performance. You have an audience, you're engaging with them, and it's more about them than you.
Thank you. I was thinking about this answer before the question, but like I mentioned, I use LinkedIn for a lot of outreach, a lot of emails. And there's this acronym that you probably have heard many, many times called WIFM, what's in it for me. And so I think about that many, many times, like when we're sending out a in-mail message via LinkedIn, or we're contacting the organizer for TEDx. And Heather mentioned this. Why would that person want me or you to do a TEDx talk? And so many times when I get a message, many, many people blow it in the subject line, because 80% of the game is in the subject line. That's what gets the attention. If you have a terrible subject line, they're going to delete it. Another piece of advice, this is not earth-shattering advice, keep it short and simple. Nobody wants to read War and Peace. And the last thing is, again, that question, why? Why does that person want to talk to me? What's in it for me? And I know that's like simple advice, but so many times we get so caught up in giving this big commercial. All we're really doing is just making it very easy for that person just to delete.
Eric, do you have anything to say about this as a TEDx Boca Raton organizer? No, he's being shy in the back. I would also mention that following the guidelines is very important, because we get a lot of submissions and they are put together and they might be the most incredibly heartfelt story, and sometimes they are, but if they don't follow the guidelines, we know that we don't have the time as volunteers to handhold every single speaker, as far as like bringing them to help them develop and follow the guidelines, because we are a whole volunteer team here. So I would definitely encourage everyone to do the research, look up the guidelines, follow the submission process. I mean, that's a really big advantage as well. I think that's it. We went way over, and I think that we got so much value here from these amazing panelists.
And if you want to connect with any of these individuals, you can find them on the OWL app. You can have a conversation, start networking over there. But
And thank you, Owl, for always supporting all of our events. He's an incredible partner for TEDx Boca Raton also. John in the back, who's on video. He's an incredible partner for TEDx. Carrie, give a stand here. TEDx Boca Raton, he's an incredible partner. And Carrie and I have a lot of projects we work on together. So thank you all.